Hello, my name is Matthew Pfeiffer with MattPfeifferCoaching.com. Welcome to my YouTube channel. On this channel, I make videos about toxic, narcissistically abusive relationships. And if you have a question that you want me to answer on this channel, make sure you send it to justaskmatt at MattPfeifferCoaching.com. Again, that is justaskmatt at MattPfeifferCoaching.com. Just make sure you keep the email 2 to 3 paragraphs max, and you're very direct and to the point of what your question actually is. Also, make sure you hit the subscribe notification. Also, make sure you hit the bell notification so you're notified each and every time I upload a new video. I upload videos on this channel 5 days a week. So Monday through Friday, I upload a new video. So with that being said, let's get into this email. So this email reads, "Good morning, I have a question. I'm in a divorce with my narcissistic ex-husband. Now the Child Protective Services has decided that we should start a program together with the help of a psychologist. We should end the relationship properly so that we can better co-parent." So this is very, very common. And so to foreshadow, this person is not in the United States. This person is in the Netherlands. But even in the United States, it's very common for certain states to mandate some sort of co-parenting classes or co-parenting coaching. And we're going to get into that on what to do in situations like that, because it's still not going to help, right? It's a good attempt, and with two parents who are in disagreement, but neither one of them are narcissistic, but they just need to find middle ground. You know, I can see where it might be helpful for them. But when we're talking about someone who's narcissistic, it's not going to help, and I'm going to tell you the reasons why. But let's continue with this email. I'm from the Netherlands, and in here they call it the SHIP project. But I know I can't properly end the relationship with the narcissist, and he says what people want to hear. Very true, but we're going to talk about how that's going to play out with this co-parenting coaching. How can I solve this, or is this a good idea? Best regards. So regardless if I think it's a good idea or not, it's court mandated, it sounds like. Right? I can't speak for the legalities in the Netherlands, but if the court is recommending it and Child Protective Services in your situation is recommending it, it's a good idea, because anytime the court is offering to do those sorts of things, you always want to show that you are the more mature parent, that you have the ability to set aside your difference and be able to attend these type of things. Now, with that being said, let's talk about what's going to actually happen in this dynamic. The narcissist is not, one of the things that you said is that the narcissist says what people want to hear. When we're talking about situations where they are in co-parenting coaching, they utilize that time to try to turn people against you. It's called triangulation. Not only are they going to try to turn people against you, but they are going to use that time frame to try to get you agitated, to bring up times of your past. They now have an audience, is what they enjoy about this part of it. They have an audience, and they're going to take every single opportunity to throw you under the bus, to bring up all of the negativity that you've had, regardless if it's true or not. They're going to do everything that they can to try to get you stirred up, to try to get you pissed off, to try to get you to engage in reactive abuse, to try to get you to step outside of your character. So you need to be prepared mentally, emotionally for those things. If you have made mistakes in the past, I can promise you that they will be brought up. Things that they know, buttons that they may have pressed that have worked in the past, I promise you, it will be brought up. It has nothing to do with the child. And just like you hear me talking about in a lot of other situations, for the narcissist, this has nothing to do with the child. So this is what you do in situations like this. Number one, the very first day, this is what should happen. It doesn't always happen, but you need to talk to the coordinator. And if you can do this proactively before you actually get there, or maybe they give you a pamphlet, you need to understand, you need to know what the ground rules are. There should be some sort of ground rules, right? Some sort of boundaries that they have set, that they have laid out. They really should do a good job of going over these type of things beforehand, but not everyone does it. So if and when they do, right, here are some of the typical rules that are going to be applied in a situation like this. that you guys are going to talk about the kids, and the kids only is typically a rule, right? That you're there for the kids, that you're not going to yell at each other, that you're not going to call each other names, that you're not going to bring up things about the past, you're going to stay focused on the kids and things of that nature, right? So let's just say that those are the ground rules. You need to make sure that you know those rules like the back of your hand. Here's the reason why. Remember, and you can see other videos I've talked about this on this channel, narcissists don't think the rules apply to them. The narcissist in this situation, when you're behind closed doors, just like you said, they try to say everything that the other person wants them to hear. They're going to bring up some juicy details about your past, about things that you may have done in the past, or do something to try to get you to step outside your character. You don't step outside your character. You play within the rules. The narcissist is not going to like that whatsoever. So each and every single time, let's say that the rules are to talk about the kids and to talk about the kids only. Let's just say that the narcissist says, you cheated. And they start bringing up things, times that they thought that you may have cheated, or maybe you actually did cheat. Then you bring it back to the rules and you look back at the coordinator and say, I thought we were here to talk about the kids, not to talk about each other's past. And you gently bring it right back to the subject at hand. Now, this is difficult because there's a lot of history, there's a lot of emotions, pent-up emotions towards the narcissist, those sorts of things, right? But it is important that you proactively take care of your own emotions, take care of your own anxiety, make sure you lower your expectation of who the narcissist is, make sure you know these rules like the back of your hand, make sure you stick to the rules as best as you possibly can, that you stay within your character, knowing your own personal limits. I would proactively think about all of the things that they have consistently brought up about your past, or that they have brought up in court, because those are the type of things that they're going to try to use against you. Now, with all that being said, right, we have to play nice in the sand for court and for CPS, but we also need to lower our expectations. One of the questions that you asked is that can this be solved, and is this a good idea, right? It's a good idea for court and for CPS reasons. It's not going to solve anything with a narcissist, right? For those of you who are going through any type of co-parenting situation, I've dealt with a lot of people who have gone through this with people who are narcissists. And one of the things I tell people when you're going into this, just tell yourself, this is about to be a shit show, right? It is going to be a shit show. And a part of you just has to lower your expectations, understanding that it's going to be a shit show, understanding it's only for an hour or however long the scheduled session is. I would have a plan in place on when you're going to go there, try to avoid or try to minimize the amount of contact before you go into the session and after you get out of the session. Understand that the narcissist is going to try to rile you up via text message, the days, weeks, and the time periods leading up to each and every time you meet with these coordinators, right? Because they're going to want to try to use those messages and the screenshots against you. So be aware of these narcissistic tactics. It's not going to work. It's not going to solve anything. But guess what? Sometimes in situations like this, when we're dealing with court and with CPS, it's also necessary. Now, you need to show that you're the more mature parent. Right? All the witty responses, fuck it, right? It's not about that. I don't care if you have the best witty response to get back at the narcissist when they start texting you or when you're in these sessions. It's not worth it, right? Even though, yes, just like I said, the narcissist is going to try to stir you up. It's going to try to throw you off center, right? It is important, for those of you who worked with me before, you guys know I always talk about being a mountain, right? The narcissist is a storm, right? You need to be a mountain. You need to show the court and CPS that you are the more mature parent, right? That you can be counted on, that it doesn't matter what they say, what they do, that you are going to be the more mature person, right? So a mountain, right? It doesn't care what the storm does. It doesn't care what the weather is. Some days it's going to be a tornado. Sometimes it's going to be a hurricane. The mountain's like, you can't move me off my center. You can't change who I am, is the mentality of a mountain. You can't affect me, right? I am a mountain, and I will always be a mountain. It doesn't matter what you do. The winds can blow, the rains can come, it can be lightning, it can be a thunderstorm. And the reason why I tell you all this is because when you don't react to the negativity in these sessions, there's a possibility that you might see the narcissist go through the roof. Allow for the coordinator to handle that. That's their responsibility, right? That's what's called professional authority. That's for them to take care of at that point, right? And you allow for them, but you're going to see that type of behavior in these type of sessions. So I would be prepared adequately. So thank you for writing in. For anyone else who would like for me to answer a question here on YouTube, send it to justaskmatt@mattpfeiffercoaching.com. Again, that is justaskmatt@mattpfeiffercoaching.com. Make sure you keep the email 2 to 3 paragraphs max, and you're very direct and to the point of what your question actually is. If it's too long, if it's too lengthy, or if I don't understand what you're asking, unfortunately, I will not be able to get to it. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and hit the bell notification so you're notified each and every time. If you would like to work with me, make sure you become a part of my Toxic to Triumph community. All of my links are down below. With that being said, thank you very much, and I will see you in the next video.